our assets, Corp, I'll give you a little history on the company, but it is a discovery story, and it's located in northwestern BC in the Atwin Mining District. And the company started off as a private company back in 2017, and it was based upon an idea that I had about, why was there no exploration work done northwest of the Golden Triangle? All the right ingredients were there, and so I set out and did some prospecting, and this is what we found. So right now we have about 74 million shares outstanding. Since the presentation has been made, the share price now is 58 cents, I believe, closed on Friday. Important thing to know about the company is there's only about 40 million shares that are tradable right now, and the rest are locked up. So we've been lucky enough and fortunate enough to be able to do some pretty aggressive lockups on our financings, and the last financing we did was with Crest Capital as well, and they put in around $1.5 million, and that's locked up a year and a half, 33.3% releases every 6 months. So we're trying to keep this thing as tight as possible, and it's also owned 26% by insiders, so very tightly held. I think safe to say that we probably have the youngest team in the CSE right now in exploration companies. I'm 31 years old myself. We probably have an average age about 37, 38. So very young team, and we're going very aggressive at this project. So as I said, when we were doing prospect generation at the beginning, a lot of desktop work went into it. But we were looking at wondering why nobody has looked to the northwest of where all of these large deposits are that are listed on this map. And one thing that we all have in common is we're all in the Stikine terrain, which is your navy-colored polygon on the map. And then we also are located along major fault structures. The major fault structure that we're located on is called the Llewellyn Fault Zone. The last time anyone did any real work there was in the 70s. And there has been some drilling done on one of our projects, which is the Laverdiere project. And then we also have another project, which is the Silver Line project, home to the 2021 discovery zone, the Grizzly Manto, which is about a kilometer strike length of between 5 and 20 meters thick of massive sulfide at surface. And just for those of you who aren't familiar with massive sulfide and discoveries, it's very, very uncommon to find something that's never been looked at before in this day and age that spans for a kilometer strike length at surface. And then the other big thing to note is our project has no option agreements with anyone, and we own 100%, no NSRs, so we're not in any rush to pay payments, and all of our money goes straight into the ground. On the right there, you'll see a picture that is one of the first outcrops that I came upon, actually, when I was up there in 2021, and that is your classic carbonate replacement. So the white you're seeing there is limestone, so a calcium-rich unit, and then the purple is, 90% sulfide. So you're getting high zinc, lead, and silver numbers, and that particular occurrence goes on for about 500 meters. Within the Silver Lime target, or the Silver Line project, we have 4 different targets. They're all related in some way, and our deposit model is that all of these carbonate replacement occurrences that we're seeing at surface are connected in the subsurface. We already started drilling 2 weeks ago, and we're already actually sending core off to the labs. We're starting on the Laverdiere project first, just because it's a lower elevation, and we're currently working at the Silver Line, getting it ready for drilling. So this is some of the samples that we did in 2021. As you can see, very respectable grades, but the thing to note here is the scale. So we have massive sulfide occurrences, so a superficial mineralized surface of 6.6 kilometers by 1.8, and that's different from an alteration surface. This is actual massive metal in the ground occurrences. All of these occurrences are separate, and it goes on for 6.6 kilometers. You'll see there's a little bit of a gap there up in the top northwestern corner, and that's where the glacier runs down. So we actually walked across the glacier, and we picked up the system again on the other side. And all the numbers you see on this slide here this is a cumulative average of every single sample that we took. And obviously the numbers speak for themselves. They're They're high-grade samples, and right now we think that we have the largest untouched carbonate replacement mineralization at surface in probably in the world right now. So this is a image from our sat imagery that we did, and again, it just gives you a sense of grade and scale. And again, all the numbers you see here are every single sample we took, and all of our samples are of massive sulfide coming up in a limestone unit, a very calcium-rich unit. So one of the important things about CRDs is you got to have a very favorable rock unit, and that's what separates us from some of the porphyry deposits down in the Golden Triangle area. We have a limestone bed here that goes on for 40 by 60 kilometers, and it's obviously very favorable with regards to permeability and porosity. So your fluids are going to follow their way just like an animal would in the woods, takes the path of least resistance, and if you're lucky, it can find its way to the surface, but it's very uncommon for that to happen. So we also did what's called a VTEM survey. It's a versatile time domain electromagnetics, which is an airborne survey. We did that last year, and we kind of did it in the opposite way of what I'm used to, and we did our geophysics kind of after we made this discovery. But once we did our geophysics, it kind of brought light to some other interesting features, and it does show a large, about 104 square kilometer area here of conductivity, and it does fit within our samples that we've taken. And to date, we've taken 365 surface samples in the area. So we're going to use, once we tap into this system, if we're fortunate enough, we'll be able to use this geophysics and actually get reference of what it actually means. So right now, major companies like Mag Silver and other silver producing companies, they use a exploration criteria list for do you want to spend money on a project? Do you want to option a project? And there's only three main things that you kind of need to check before you spend some money, and that's location in two different ways. One being, is it located near other Hollywood deposits, I call them? And the answer is yes. It's all along the Stikine terrain and along a large fault system. Do you have a lot of carbonate in the area? You have to have carbonate unit. You need to have a unit you can replace in order to make these deposits. So we check that box as well, and obviously it's a large unit at surface, and it's obviously permeable and has the right porosity and permeability to produce a large deposit. And then also you want to separate your deposit from other deposit types like MVT or Irish type deposits, and basically the higher silver numbers you get, the better. So the quicker you can get above 400 grams per ton silver, the better that you could be in a carbonate replacement system. And then, of course, there's another 10 other accessory boxes you can check, which most companies, sometimes it takes $10 million or plus dollars to kind of check some of these boxes, but we have reason to believe that we can actually tick every single box at a very early stage, and we've only spent about $3 million so far on this project. And yeah, that ends our presentation here, but we do have a booth here, obviously, so feel free to visit, and we have some rock samples there from surface, and we are drilling right now, and we're planning on doing 5,000 meters, hopefully more. The weather up there's been great, so everything's been going really well for once, so we're happy about that, and thanks for having me.